I'm Rich Bradley, and this is the July 6th, 2021 meeting of the Board of Public Service. We will start off today with a hearing, and this is a public meeting, by the way, and so I would ask that only directors are allowed to speak during this meeting. Is our applicant in the room with?
Yes,
Okay,
there's
great.
2 people here.
That's great, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, hearing number 8258. This hearing number 8258 is being conducted pursuant to Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The applicants, Andrew May, Brian Davis, and Jeff Meyer, DBA Howdy Tattoo LLC, are proposing to operate a tattoo parlor at 2654 Locust Street. Due to the nature of the business, the applicants are required to hold a license issued by this board pursuant to the guidelines of Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. Procedural history. March 3rd, 2021, a certificate of occupancy and zoning, CN 548082-21, issued to Howdy Tattoo LLC for the use of 2654 Locust Street as a tattoo studio. The property is Zone H Commercial, and upon approval of the zoning administrator, zoning is proper and does not require a conditional use permit. May 18th, 2021, applicant submits to BPS a completed BPS tattoo parlor license application, number 129219, for 6 chairs for the proposed premise at 2654 Locust Street. June 10th, 2021, a letter from the Health Director, Dr. Frederick L. Eccles, BPS, finding no evidence of health code violations at the facility at 2654 Locust Street, and recommends the issuance of a BPS license for a tattoo parlor with 6 chairs. June 14th, 2021, a certified letter from the Secretary of BPS is mailed, in which the applicant and property owner are notified of today's hearing, and a copy of the public notice of today's hearing, which were posted and published. As outlined in section 8.97.070 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis, the Board of Public Service may approve such application after a hearing if it is satisfied that the applicant is of good moral character and the applicant has given evidence that they will be able to operate the premise in compliance with all regulations and laws governing such premise, and the application is a resident of the state and his neighborhood consent petition is in due form, and the applicant's premise are not within 500 feet of an elementary school. The Board of Public Service has in its possession and is thereby admitted into evidence the following documents. Item 1, a certified copy of Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, the applicant's file with the Office of Secretary, Board of Public Service, which includes but is not limited to A, the above referenced license application with drawings of the proposed premise, and B, public notices as were published and posted for today's hearing. Item 3, an occupancy permit from the zoning division issued for 2654 Locust Street to be occupied as a tattoo studio. Item 4, a copy of the certificate of occupancy and zoning issued for 2654 Locust Street to be occupied as a tattoo studio. And item 5, a letter from the Director of Health, Dr. Frederick L. Eccles, stating that the community sanitation staff inspected the facility at 2654 Locust Street, City of St. Louis, and found no evidence of health code violations. The issuance of a license for a tattoo establishment was recommended. The board will swear in and hear from the applicant and those in support of the applicant's proposed use. The board will then allow those, if any, that are opposed to the tattoo parlor to address the board. After each side has had an opportunity to speak, the board will allow for rebuttal. At this time, the board that asks that the applicant please come forward and be sworn in. And since there are multiple applicants, let's do one at a time. And Give them all an opportunity, please.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name.
My name is Jeff Meyer.
So I have a series of questions that I would like to ask you, and I assume that you'll be speaking on behalf of all the applicants. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Question one, are you a resident of the state of Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the state of Missouri requires that tattoo establishments be issued a license from the Director of the Division of Professional Regulation of the state of Missouri for operation. Do you have a license for this proposed tattoo establishment issued by the Director of the Division of Professional Registration of the state of Missouri?
Yes, sir.
How many tattoo chairs are being applied for today?
6.
Okay, and are you aware that any increase in the number of tattoo chairs must be applied for with this board?
Yes.
And how many employees will you have at this establishment?
3.
And do all the tattoo artists have their Missouri state licensure?
Yes.
Okay, and will you be able to comply with all the provisions of Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis,
Yes.
including the following? A, do you understand that you, as an operator of the tattoo parlor, are at all times responsible for the orderly conduct of the establishment and the acts of any of your agents, servants, or employees in the operation of the same?
Yes.
B, do you understand that tattoo establishments may only be open between 9 a.m. and 1 a.m.?
Yes.
And what are your proposed hours?
And we set up for 11 to 7.
11 to 7.
Okay. And do you understand that tattoo parlors shall be kept clean and well lighted so that the rear of the premise is plainly visible from the front of the premise?
Oh, yes.
And will you be able to maintain this tattoo establishment in this manner?
Oh, yeah.
And finally, do you understand that no tattoo parlor shall allow or permit any loud noises, boisterous or disorderly conduct in and around the premise or on the grounds of such premise, and the operator shall prevent the loitering of persons on the premise or around the premise of the tattoo parlor?
Yes.
And will you be able to comply with all of these regulations?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with that in mind, I'd just like to give you an opportunity to say anything to the board that you would like to say before we open it up for questions.
I don't really have a lot to say. Between the 3 of us, we have 30 years of experience. We're incredibly professional tattooers, and we're here to prove that and also bring a good positive energy into the neighborhood. So yeah, we're excited. We can't wait.
Great, thank you. So at this time, I'd like to open the floor for any of our board members who would like to ask questions of our applicant. Okay, seeing no further questions, do either of the other gentlemen who are co-applicants, would they like to be sworn in and say anything? If so, please be sworn in.
They do not. They do not, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anyone else here present today that wishes to come forward and testify in support of this establishment?
There's no one.
Oh, I think we have one.
He doesn't wish to speak.
Yes, this is Jason Johnson. I'm the owner
Okay.
of the building they will be occupying. I was just wanting to say that we're in full support of this project as well.
There he is.
Hey, oh, we didn't swear you in.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You want to just do that formally, Dre, quickly?
Sure.
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, Jason.
And again, you're in support of this establishment? And so,
I am. I'm the building owner in full support.
okay, great. I would like to open the floor up for any of our board members who may have questions for this gentleman. Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Glad to.
One more time, I will ask if there's anyone in favor of this application who wishes to testify. Please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. If there's anyone present that wishes to testify in opposition to the applicant in this proposed establishment, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. The matter concerning hearing number 8258 is now closed and submitted. The board will deliberate the matter following the remaining agenda items. At this time, I would like to ask Secretary to please call the roll.
Director Eccles? Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Isom?
Aye.
Director Russell?
Aye.
Director Scobie?
Aye, here.
Director Wilson?
Present.
And President Bradley?
Present, we have a quorum. I will call the meeting to order.
Email you to let you know if there's any corrections.
Okay, great. Do you have like an ETA when we'll?
At the end of the meeting, around 3 o'clock.
Oh, cool. Thank
All
you
right,
so much.
no
Awesome.
problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
President, recommendation that approval be given as follows. Contract and bond for letting number 8728, reconstruction of runway 12R through 30L from taxiway Romeo to taxiway Golf, Project 1 at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. From the Office of Special Events, request for the following to be approved with certain conditions. Temporary outdoor seating expansion for Yakis on Cherokee on the 3400 block of Iowa between Cherokee South to First Alleyway for Fridays and Saturdays, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., July 9th, 2021 through November 13th, 2021. President and Directors of Health and Hospitals and Public Safety, joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Resolution of the Board of Public Service approving grant sub-award and accepting equipment. President and Directors of Human Services, Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 129295, Missouri Department of Transportation requesting permission for a pavement resurfacing project along I-70/I-44 from Branch to Biddle, not including the reversible lanes. It is set up as a 2.75-inch mill on main line with a fill of 2-inch SP125 BSM mix, basically removing the existing 0.75 UV AWS surface and overlaying with a 2-inch lift of SP125 BSM. The shoulders will get treated with a 2-inch middle fill of BP1. The westbound I-44 exit ramp to Broadway will be resurfaced just to the south of where Biddle goes under the interstate. This project will also be upgrading the signal detection, ADA push buttons, heads, signs at Salisbury and 11th Street and 9th Street and McKinley Street and 9th Street, along with upgrading some of ADA ramps at these signals and any non-compliant ADA features on MoDOT right away from Salisbury to Biddle. This will help address all items on the ADA transition plan through the section of right of way. Guardrail will also be addressed to upgrade any deficient rail up to MASH standards on MoDOT right of way. Director of Streets recommendation that the following vacation petitions be filed. Board document number 289726, petition number 6892, Ashland Avenue beginning at a point 136.89 feet east of the west right-of-way line of Clara and continue eastwardly 564.71, give or take 0.1 foot, to a point 136.88 feet west of the west right-of-way line of Belt. Board document number 289728, petition 6894, First Greer Avenue from Abner Place eastwardly 346 feet, 0.395, give or take 0.5 feet to a point, the 15-foot wide north-south alley in City Block 5249 and being bounded by Ashland Avenue, Kimberly Avenue, vacated, Greer Avenue and Avenue Place. The 15-foot wide north-south alley in City Block 4518 beginning at Ashland Avenue and extending southwardly 214 feet, 0.18 feet to a point and being bounded by Ashland Avenue, Abner Place, St. Louis Avenue and Arlington Avenue. Application number 129228, Cornerstone Silk Grow LLC, requesting the city to vacate any explicit or implied rights to a since vacated private alley at 4230 4250R and 4254 South Kings Highway Boulevard in City Block 6455. Director of Public Utilities and Safety, joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 129296, subdivide land at 2200 and 2224 Gravoy Avenue in City Block 1339, Block 6. Application number 129297, lot consolidation, construction of a building addition that would cross over the property line at 4134 Gravoy Avenue, City Block 4172. Owner owns both lots and the existing building. Directors of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that two applications from American Fiber Com be approved subject to certain conditions. Application number 127606, start at an existing handhole at the northeast corner of North Broadway and Morning Avenue, bore south for 241 feet and place a new handhole at the rear of 6325 Oyudat Avenue, bore south for 808 feet to 6200 North Broadway and place a new handhole, bore south for 831 feet to 6020 North Broadway and place a new handhole, bore south for 885 feet to the northeast corner of North Broadway and East Athlone Avenue and place a new handhole, bore south for 786 feet to 5600 North Broadway and place a new handhole, bore south for 972 feet ending at 5326 North Broadway and placing a new handhole. Application number 127615, directional bore and place 1 to 2 inch HOPE conduit, place 24 by 36 handholes where needed. Project starts at existing American Fibercom LLC handhole at 1220 South 8th Street. Bore 40 feet north across Hickory, head west along the north side of Hickory for 80 feet to a new placed handhole. Head north along the South 7th Street for 752 feet to a new placed handhole. Continue north along South 7th Street for 1,123 feet to a new placed handhole. Permit ends here at 700 South 7th Street. Joint recommendation that 7 applications from AT&T be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 127523, AT&T contracted to access existing manhole at the front of 1905 South Grand and bore 96 feet of 2-inch interduct with fiber, then 129 feet north, and then another 48 feet east to 2000 South Grand. Lane closure will be needed. Application number 127613, AT&T to bore a new fiber optic cable from existing manhole in front of 4012 North Newstead Avenue, then to the west to the front of 4015 North Newstead Avenue, then south within the right-of-way under the concrete sidewalk to the front of 4519 Margaretta Avenue, then south to the front of 4516 Margaretta Avenue, then west within the right-of-way under the concrete sidewalk to the front of 4520 Margaretta Avenue, and then onto the property at 4520 Margaretta Avenue. Application number 127616, access existing manhole at Jefferson Avenue and Scott Avenue, 520 South Jefferson Avenue, and bore a 2-inch inner duct with cable 1,111 feet southeast along the south side of Scott Avenue to 2208 Scott Avenue. Lane closure will be needed. Application number 127617, starting at 117 Cross Street, at the corner of Cross Street and South Broadway at the phone pole on the west side of South Broadway. Spectrum will bore from that pole across South Broadway to the south side of Cross Street, going towards the river. Spectrum will bore 190 feet to the first set of Union Pacific tracks and place a vault. Spectrum will bore under the tracks 197 feet to the other set of tracks and place another vault. Spectrum will bore under tracks 232 feet to 133 East Cross Street and enter building. Application number 127618, AT&T contracted to access existing cable on the pole on the side of 1024 Montrose Avenue and bore a 2-inch inner duct with cable 209 feet north to the north side of Shoto Avenue, then 435 feet east along the north side of Shoto Avenue, then 38 feet north along the west side of Ewing Avenue, then 48 feet east across Ewing Avenue to the east side and bore 257 feet north and cross back over to the north side of Pavement Street. Finally, bore 382 feet east along the north side of Pavement Street. Lane closure will be needed. Application number 127619, AT&T to bore new fiber optic cable for 156 feet from an existing handhole at the rear of 6130 Horton Place on Maple Avenue, then traveling east on Maple Avenue for 156 feet to the property located at 6104 Maple Avenue. Application number 127629, AT&T to cut and restore a 4x4 portion of asphalt at the base of the pole located at the rear of 3919 Laclede Avenue, then bore the cable to the property at 3919 Laclede Avenue. Joint recommendation that 8 applications from MCI be approved subject to certain conditions. Application number 127589, tying to existing handhole at our permit start address of 3556 South Compton Avenue on the corner of South Compton Avenue and Miami Avenue, and directional bore east 20 feet to tie a small cell site at 3556 South Compton Avenue. Application number 127590, tying to an existing handhole at the permit start address of 2027 Utah Street from the existing handhole, a directional bore 998 feet east on the north side of Utah Street, and set a new handhole. The new handhole is located on the northeast corner of Lent Avenue and Utah Street. From the new handhole, a directional bore 426 feet south on the east side of Utah Street, set up another handhole located next to a cell site at the stop permit address of 3344 Lent Avenue. Application number 127591 begins at beginning at 3260 Michigan Avenue from an existing handhole at the corner of Utah Street and Michigan Avenue, a directional bore 707 feet south on the east side of Michigan Avenue to place a new handhole. The new handhole is located at the southeast corner of Michigan Avenue and Cherokee Street. From the new handhole, a directional bore 131 feet east on the south side of Cherokee Street to place a new handhole at the permit and address 3122 Cherokee Street. Application number 127592, at 3500 Illinois Avenue, we will tie into an existing handhole at the corner of Illinois Avenue and Pavement Street. From the existing handhole, a directional bore 731 feet west across Illinois Avenue and on the south side of Potomac Street. We bore a 90-degree turn with the underground conduit going south along the east side of Indiana Avenue. At the corner of the Potomac Street and Indiana Avenue, we will tie into an existing handhole on the east side of Indiana Avenue to a cell site at the permit and address of 3504 Indiana Avenue. Application number 127593 begins at beginning address of 3260 Michigan Avenue from an existing handhole at the corner of Utah Street and Michigan Avenue, a directional bore 682 feet north on the east side of Michigan Avenue to place a new handhole. The new handhole is located on the northeast corner of Michigan Avenue and Wyoming Street and Gravois Avenue. The permit end address is 3136 Gravois Avenue. Application number 127594, starting at the address 3259 Texas Avenue, we will tie into an existing handhole from the existing handhole, a directional bore 416 feet east on the north side of Utah Street to place a new handhole on the northeast corner of Utah Street and South Jefferson Avenue. From the new handhole, a directional bore 499 feet south on the east side of South Jefferson Avenue and set a new handhole at the cell tower location of Cherokee 018 at 3300 South Jefferson Avenue. Application number 127595, from the existing handhole at 3729 Gustine Avenue, a directional bore 536 feet north on the west side of Gustine Avenue to place a new handhole. From the new handhole located at the southwest corner of Gravois Alley and Gustine Avenue. From that handhole, directional bore 321 feet north on the west side of Gustine Avenue to place a new handhole on the northwest corner of Gravois Avenue and Gustine Avenue. From that new handhole, a directional bore 91 feet new under Gustine Avenue to tie into the 5G cell site at permit stop point of 3871 Gravois Avenue. Application number 127596, correction to an address on the approval document number 30492. And there are no conditional uses for today.
Thank you, Dre. First, we'll handle our hearing number 8258 for Howdy Tattoo LLC, 2654 Locust. We heard from our conditional use permit applicant that they will comply with all provisions of Chapter 8.97 of the revised code of the city of St. Louis. And we heard from the property's owner that he is in support, and there was no opposition to today's application. So with that, I'd like to open the floor for discussion.
Based upon all the information submitted, this is Hayes. I recommend and make a motion that we approve the tattoo parlor.
Wilson, second.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, can you call the roll, please?
Director Eccles?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Isom?
Aye.
Director Russell?
Aye.
Director Scobie?
Aye.
Director Wilson?
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, the application is approved. I'd like to turn your attention to our main minutes from last Tuesday's meeting, June 29th, 2021. Are there any questions or comments on those meeting minutes as presented? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve, please.
Wilson, so moved.
Isom, second.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Eccles?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Isom?
Aye.
Director Russell?
Aye.
Director Scobie?
Aye.
Director Wilson?
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes from the 29th are approved. Today's agenda, are there any questions or comments on today's agenda?
Hayes, motion to approve.
Second, Eccles.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Eccles?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Isom?
Aye.
Director Russell?
Aye.
Director Scobie?
Aye.
Director Wilson?
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, today's agenda is approved. Before we adjourn, are there any comments or any questions from any of our board directors? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved, Hayes.
Second, Wilson.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Have a nice afternoon.
You too. Thanks.